First, we need to import tkinter using from tkinter import asterisk. Next, we need to create an instance called window and set that equal to tk, open and close parentheses. Then, call window.mainLoop. If you were to run this now, you would get an empty window, so let's add something to it. We can create a label, which is essentially a text box, using label equals label with a capital L, open and close parentheses. Into our label function, we need to pass several things. Firstly, its container, being window. Next, we can pass in the text we want the label to contain. I'm using Hello World. While we could stop here, let's customize it a little bit. Starting out by assigning it a font. First, we assign the font. I'm using Arial. Then we can define its size, and after that, any special characteristics it might have, like being bold or in italics or underlined. After that, we can assign the foreground color, which is the color of the text, and the background color, which is the color behind the text. I'm using green and black, and FG equals green and BG equals black. Finally, we can give our text box a border, using relieve equals and then the type of border. I've included a link in the description that will include all of the possible border types, but I'm using raised in all caps. Finally, we can assign the border's width using BD equals and then a number. I'm using 10. Now before we run it, we have to tell the program to display it on the window. To do that, we can use either label.pack or label.place. Using label.place, we can define its exact coordinates, but I'm going to use label.pack, which by default sets it to the top middle of the screen. Now, as you can see, when we run it, we have a text box with a border with a black background and green font color that says Hello World. Let's create our button using button equals button, open and close parentheses, and let's pass in its container, which is window. And let's go ahead and do button.pack. Now, as you can see, if we run, we have one button with no text and no function. Let's define the function that the button is going to call. I'm calling mine out_button. All this is going to do is print out Hello World. Next, let's pass in command equals out_button into our button definition. I'm going to use the same font from our label, so I'm just going to copy and paste it to save some time. Finally, I'm going to assign its text. I'm going to make mine say print. If we run this now, we can see a button with the words print on it, and if we press it, in the console it'll output Hello World. Finally, let's set window.config background equal to black. And now we have our finished product.